Hi fellas, nice back here again, and we're going to be having a look at Eduard's 148 109 F4. Now, this is going to be the first time I've built a 109 that's not an E version, or a Battle of Britain version, or a tropical version. So this is going to be quite nice. And this kit I picked up for the grand total of £22. So, you know, next to no money, and we'll get cracking, and we'll have a look in the box. So what do we get in the box? We get obviously the instruction instruction book. We get 4 sprues of grey plastic, some decals, and some Photo-etched and whatever. So we'll start off by looking at the instruction manual. As with any Eduard kit, you get a nice shiny glossy booklet with some spiel on the aircraft, and then we get the parts layout, so you can actually see there's quite a lot of parts in here that don't get used. And then we've got the Photo-etched parts, and then we've got the colours in Aquarius or Mr. Colour. And then we move on straight into build, and straight away we're on the actual cockpit. So the cockpit floor with the trimming wheel, the fuel pipe, okay, and then moving on to doing the Photo-etched seat belts and adding everything to the actual cockpit, adding some detail to the cockpit walls with Photo-etched or plastic parts, the instrument panel, and then sandwiching it all together with either or of the actual exhaust stacks. Also, then move on to putting on the filter, whether it's going to be a tropical filter or a normal filter. I'm putting some P parts onto the shrouds of the actual nose, and then some of the control surfaces, the horizontal and vertical stabilizers, onto the wheel well. Okay, really simple wheel well on this, but there will be some detail in there. Because on the real aircraft, I don't think there was that much detail. Sandwiching the wings together, and then the wings actually butting up and joining onto the fuselage. And then on to the putting the slats on this aircraft, slats and flaps and what have you. Moving on to the radiators. So we've got the radiators, got a P part that go into the radiators. And among them getting all attached to the aircraft, the chin radiator and the 2 radiators for under the wings, and then the actual flaps and wheels going on, the gun sight, the cockpit and everything, at the cockpit, the cockpit canopy, there we are. We've actually got a little bit here, Photo-etched bit for the actual antenna wire that goes along into the antenna or the radio mast, and then the big spinner with a big nose and all that sort of stuff. And then we've got a central bomb for markings E. Mast sets, so a full mast set for the canopy, and then we move on to the markings. So we've got one from France, in October 13th 1941. We've got one from Finland, September 2nd 1942, and then we've got the Australia, Russia, Soviet Union in early December 1941. We have got one from North Africa, February 1942. Again, another France one from June 1942, and then the Soviet Union in 1942. So I am opting for this one, to be fair. I've never actually done an aircraft on the Eastern Front other than my Stuka, so I think this one will go really, really well with that. Okay. And then we've got all the stencil data. And obviously we've got some aftermarket we can get for this kit. That's the instruction manual. Let's take a look at the plastic. We'll open up this one first. So this one's the wings and fuselage and the clear parts. I'll just put the clear parts over there for the moment. So we have got the lower and upper wings, and again, as per Eduard boxing of this kit, you can actually see a lot of that beautiful... Sorry about that, someone's just phoned me. Right, back to where we were. We've got some lovely rivet detail, okay, on this aircraft. And then we move on to the upper wings. Again, you can actually see the rivet for the wheel wells. If I can just get that in the light, there we are. Okay, and then we move on to the fuselage. So fuselage, again, some really nice rivet detail going all the way down this aircraft. Nose. Okay. The bulges are for a later version, I believe. I think they're for the G. And they've got also different tail parts for different versions. So you could make the G out of this kit if you so wished. I believe it's a G anyway. The G that followed on for this one. So the F was the mid-war warhorse for the Germans. Next part, we have got wheels, and all one-part wheels. Okay, so you've got 4 different versions there. Headrest in the cockpit, some of the actual wheel hubs, different types, propellers, the different type of propellers, so 1, 2, 3 different types of propellers, the wheel doors, and then we've got the cockpit floor and back. And then moving on to some of the actual wheel well. What I like about this this kit, okay, you can actually, that's fabric that's in the wheel wells. So the wheel wells, the where the wheels actually went up, were actually fabric. So you've got those ones there, and the rest down there. So that's a really, really nice touch by Eduard. A little bit of flash, okay, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem to get rid of. Instrument on the cockpit wall. And then we move on to the exhaust. So we have got the non-shrouded ones just there. You can see they've got a nice recess in them. And then we've got the the ones that are shrouded. If I can get these into focus. They are not hollow, so you might have to want to hollow them out if you can see them. And the rest is just control surfaces. So again, we've got some lovely detail on the flaps, on the radiator flaps, on the tail surfaces all round. Okay. The filter. So some really, really nice detail on this. We've then got our mask set. So a die cut or laser cut mask set, and then our bit of photo etch. So we've got the colour part with the seat belts on and the instrument panel, and then the non-fuller part, the actual brass. So we've got steel and brass, okay, for all the radiators and other bits and pieces, shrouds, and that's for the tail of the bomb. Moving on to the decals, I want to have a good look at these ones. Okay, so these are Eduard's own, and they are just about perfect. Also, you can see this one, that's not a fault of the decals, that is actually how they want you to put it on. Okay, so again, the carrier film's really, really close to the edge, really, really up to the, so there's hardly any carrier film, okay, on all of these. They're really, really nice, those ones. Okay, and then we've got the stenciled data. All right. So that is Eduard 109 F-4. I have built their E-4, okay, in the past, and that is a lovely kit. It goes together really, really well. What you need to do though, to make sure it all fits on the E, the engine cowling, is build it, but shave the engine at the very, very front. That way you can get the engine the engine cowling on. If you don't shave that bit off, you know, spend time detailing up the engine and all that sort of stuff, you might as well build it without the cover going on, because the cover won't go on it. You need to be able to cut a bit off the top of the top front of the engine for it to be able to do that. But looking at that kit, it looks like a beautifully detailed kit, detail engineered kit, and I have heard that it's better, goes together better than their 109Es. Okay, so that's it for now, fellas. I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.